Okay, hello everyone. In this occasion, we are in a Skype meeting and we are going to socialize some questions about September 11th. In this meeting, we will participate Laura Spiñal, Marlene Angulo, Melissa Suarez, Jose Celis, and who speaks Angertis. We have seven questions. And the first question is, could the U.S. Air Force have prevented the attack of the Twin Towers?
Yes, if the military agency and the government have been attending to what could happen, this attack could have been prevented.
I think the same. I think that it could be possible to prevent the attack if they told to the pilots that it was not a simulacrum, it was like a real life operation. So I think in that way they could prevent the attack.
Yes, those Air Force should have said keys in inserting a list some of those had just played, and those among the four men how prevent them from doing some a major defense training and exercise was take place the exercise guys can function as a personnel in actually parts, the high report were deleted even when the report were confirmed. It still took 9 the silent to be scribbled and while for they were still unsure about where they were going to find their scribble from Washington, heading out to see rather than toward the hijack airline.
Okay, from my point of view, the Air Force could have prevented the attacks, but how is said in the documentary, it was due to the incompetency of the Air Force that the attack couldn't be prevented. In accordance with Paul Hiller, who was former Minister of National Defense of Canada, the planes could be intercepted in 5 or 10 minutes. And for me, what is most important is that the country weren't prepared despite the warnings of the other countries.
Yes. For example, William Binney worked as an analogist at the NSA, and he thinks the attacks could have been avoided if the US had not ignored the surveillance system it had proposed. In 1997, already working for the NSA, he began researching on the internet and combines that the terrorists use the networks to communicate. Together with a small team, he developed Thin Threat, that is a perfect surveillance program in which they use metadata and was perfect to not invade anyone's privacy. But they set aside the program when they develop a new project. Vinay says that in January 2001, he sent a petition to his superiors to apply the program to a list of website suspects of terrorism, but the request was rejected. But he still thinks that the attack on the Twin Tower on September 11 could have been avoided. Well, now continue with the question number 2. Were the Twin Towers deliberately demolished by explosive?
The twin towers were not a consequence of the damage caused by the impact of the ice planet games. The building stood during the attack of September 11th, nor of the deterioration derived from the subsequent fire, but was caused by explosive in plain beforehand in the building.
For me, there are two opinions or two theories about that. The first theory is that the Twin Towers fell down due to the airplane, the impact of the airplane. But in another hand, some people think that the combustion temperature of the airplane is lower than the melting point of the steel. So the airplane couldn't make that the Twin Towers fell down. They think that it was a destruction inside the job. I mean, the government ordered that the Twin Towers fell down at that moment.
After September 11 investigation by those federal emergency management agent FEMA and those Nano Institute of Standards and Technology needs determined that the collapse of those twin towers was the shadow impact of those play and the large quantity of explosion fuel release in the door building. They also argue that the silver which has a far lower burning temperature than the melting point of steel is unlikely to house weekend favor sufficient transparent those class of the three tower those explanation for the pass of a small offer the after of the popular mechanic study is that as those floor crash down us that us one another a pressure where force dust and smoke out of the window.
I think yes, because the theories of why the towers collapse, like the one which says that the temperatures reached for the fire were the cause, don't have any proof, and for the moment there isn't a more secure explanation of how the towers got collapsed. Further, there is some proof about the demolition by explosive as why the bone sniffing were removed days before, and the most convincing proof is that the explosions were recorded by sound camera crews.
A study published in the European Physical Society says that the Twin Towers were not demolished by a plane, but by a contract demolition. The study not only shows the fall of the Twin Tower, but also the collapse of the Building 7, which wasn't hit by any air. Um, this, this, this building need to have some great centigrades to collapse, but that didn't happen. The chief engineer of the Twin Tower structure said that although all the fuel in the plane had been discharged over the entire building, the structure of the building would have to remain intact. In that sense, the only way to know down the Twin Towers was with a controlled internal explosion. The explosion would cause the steel to break and therefore cause the building to fall. Okay, the third question says, were some people forewarned about the attacks?
Okay. People were not on notice because the government have no idea what happened, and for that reason, in this occasion, many people died.
I think that not all the people, but on the day happened some facts that leave us a lot to think about. For example, on that day, on September 11, a lot of Jews that work in the World Trade Center didn't go to work. So maybe they know what was going to happen, but I think that not everybody, because if, for example, if I am an United States habitant and I know what is going to happen and I know that I'm going to did, I haven't go to work that day.
What do you think, Marilyn?
Yes. Shortly after the attack, a rumor star is spread around the world with claims that Chu and Fuji in the World Trade Center had the no claim a farewell and September 11 one conspiracy theory suggests that September 11 was an Israeli fact discredit.error report, another than that dot Israeli intelligence agency Mossad found out about the attack before him and when the two Kennedy in New York, the rumor started after the Jerusalem Post reported that Rafi, Israeli were village chats believing and working in New York and Washington. Almaner TV at the AFP Cham do Esture y reported Israeli working at the World Trade Center had known Chogater war and September 11 is that anti-Semitic rumor spread. To tell by K alleged like SK of Shani Wester.
Um, I think yes, maybe not all the people, but there were people who were warned about terrorist attacks. Some of them using airplanes. And how the Russia's president Vladimir Putin said that he ordered to alert the United States that terrorists were prepared that kind of attacks.
I think no person was warned about what would happen. Even so, that doesn't mean that the government wasn't aware or that the National Security Agency hadn't suspicious about it. They had advanced technology, and some time ago, other attacks had happened in different places. Therefore, they should be cautious. However, it's a theory that cannot be suspected and has many loose ends. Uh, Question number 4. Was the Pentagon really hit by an airplane?
Okay. It was not a plane, but a missile that crashed into the Pentagon. According to the context of the black box of Flight 77, the plane made an spiral descent, describing a rotation about 315 that took about 2 minutes. And the Twin Towers did not collapse because of the collision of the airplanes, not by the two consequent parts, but rather some chairs that could have caused the collapse of the building, which could be a controlled demolition and would have been detonated.
For me, absolutely not. Why? Because the damage on the wall of that place, the Pentagon, was too small to be hidden by an airplane. And I think that it was not an airplane, it was a missile that hit the Pentagon. And another thing, or another reason why I think that it was a missile is because the cameras can take photos about the airplanes hitting the place. So for me, a airplane is a big object to not be seen. That's my opinion about that question.
Conspiracy theories argue that the Pentagon American military Hercules was not yet by air cremation. The prey they say the initial hole in the outer wall is too small and there is no evidence of visible wreckage. Instance believed the Pentagon was hit by something small such as, as a man drawn across metal per professor. His Cecil of Scarlet, 1st September 11 through the evidence is clear. Cat wherever hit, the building was not a bomb. He told those Kemperes passive and go that tell J.A. Boeing his dot building is certain something that is probably false that cannot possibly be true.
Um, in my opinion, despite some proof, I think that the Pentagon wasn't hit by an airplane. My reasons are: first, the mystery and prohibition of the videos where the airplane isn't seen hitting the Pentagon. The second proof is the small hole in the walls of the Pentagon compared with the big size of the plane that supposedly hit it. The third is the strange people who was collecting ruins in the place because it wasn't a normal protocol in this kind of success. For me, that proof are enough to know that something strange happened in the Pentagon.
Yes, I am agree. I mean, Bonnie turned to Washington about 9 a.m. and if it was 9 from 9:24, For that the Boeing was going to Washington, why did the Pentagon's defense system with 5 missile batteries and 2 combat squads uh, do nothing? Boeing was a really big airplane and just destroyed the first ring of the Pentagon. I, as I said before, I agree with you. I really think that Pentagon wasn't hit by an airplane, but by a missile. So, question number 5. Could the attacks have been prevented?
Yes, I think it could be possible because the FBI knows that at that moment or in that days were some Al Qaeda agents in the United States. If they had communicate that to the government, maybe they can interrupt their plans, but that order or that information were never communicated to another person. And that's the reason why I think they couldn't do anything about that.
And what do you think,
Had those CIT of those FBI to know Al-Qaeda has traveled to America it would have been easy to them down possibly do September 11 or chat had been tweeted they all was his in large organization you do hold breakdown in communication and no lower end there was never any time down or either by the FBI or the CIA instant that the CIA information about Al-Sadmi Al-Midar was lost in the system.
I think yes, they could. The reason why I think that is because there were much signs of what was going to happen, and if there weren't, the government wasn't able to detect a very obvious emergency and stop it.
well, as I mentioned it earlier, if more attention had been paid to the program processed by William, suspicious or terrorist conversation could have been detected. Further, long before the world knew who Osama bin Laden was, FBI agent John O'Neill was already obsessed with catching him. He was in charge of the fight against terrorists within the U.S. investigation police, and if his internal CIA rivals had not hid information, it is very likely that O'Neill had detected the plot that led to the September 11 attack of 2001 and saved many lives. Now continue with the question number 6. Was Osama bin Laden really captured and killed?
Okay, Osama bin Laden was not captured by the government, but he was killed by an operation that was carried out by the U.S. military.
In my opinion, I think that yes, it was, but not in the way that United States made us think it was. It is true that he was captured and killed, but not in a operation planned by United States government. Uh, the United States received help from another countries, from Arabia Saudita countries, and they helped to United States to arrive to the place where Osama bin Laden was, and they killed him.
According the chair, Ecuadorian and the US security service did not play any relevant role in the discovery being railing. There was no vacation from any prisoner who was obtained through such a chat. Holy fine that made us the father and her us arqueada there was no children in the house, whereby letting live and chat each of those terrorists' body was never found in the dossier.
No, I think Osama bin Laden never was captured and killed, and the news about his death were done with the reason of to calm the people because the body of Osama never was found.
No evidence have found that proof the death of or capture of Osama bin Laden. Therefore, it is a subject that was left without a concrete answer. According to articles, interviews, investigation, and even testimonies, there are several theories about the way he died in a shooting, an explosion in the water, but no one of those theories are supported by evidence. So, to this day, we have two options. Either we believe in the information provided by the media and the government, or we give way to the possibility that the death of Osama bin Laden was forced. And we are going to finish with the last question number 7. Was 9/11 caused by the American government on purpose?
Okay, there are many conspiracy theories that attribute the planning and execution of the September 11 attack against the United States to Paris other than. In addition to Al Qaeda, including that there was advanced knowledge of the attack among high level government officials. Government investigation and independent reviews have rejected these theories. Proponents of this theory assert that there are inconsistencies in the commonly accepted version or evidence that was either ignored or overlooked.
Sorry, I don't know what happened to my. In my opinion, it's it's insane to think that United States did that. I mean, uh, um, it's crazy to think that they want to damage their own construction, but you can judge a cover. Sorry, you can judge a book by its cover. Um, I think that maybe they did that, and they want to say that it was Osama bin Laden's group, and to have a reason to destroy that group. But I think that this is a question that we will always try to solve, and nobody knows the real reason or the real person that do that.
Was September 11 caused by both American governments and paper known radical Islam movement that consider the host their enemy though way citing as the Iron name Ralu called it scorched us a century ago how easy for many years. They have been responsible for killer or chat when us choose facility of governing us Jorge Bush Sedo Ocha was a Torresi Ocha and in the dos Afghan streaming groups Al Qaeda led at that time by Osama bin Laden.
Yes, I think so. I think that for all the controversies that involve the 9/11, it's very complicated to think in all the mysteries and confused success. For me, the best proof of that is the short prohibition of the evidence of the very strange events that happened that day. Since the terrorists brought the plane to the collapse of the Twin Towers, and neither there is evidence of the participation of Al Qaeda or Osama bin Laden in the attack.
For me, there are two theories. First one, the United States government had prior knowledge of the attacks and deliberately didn't do nothing to prevent them. This group of theory therefore admits the existence of Islamic kidnappers and doesn't question the cause of the collapse of the Twin Towers, but accuse the government of deliberately allowing terrorists to carry out the attacks. And the second one, that it was the United States government itself that orchestrated and perpetrated the attacks in a failed flag operation. This group is conspiracy theories question the cause of the collapse of the Twin Towers, which would be a controlled demolition.
Yes, this is a difficult question to answer, and I think that only God knows what happened on that day. So, my friends, it was a pleasure to discuss this topic with you. I hope to meet you in another opportunity, and I hope you all have a good night. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.